So, here you are watching an overview of what seems to be a super duper cool tech thing that some guy on YouTube used in order to make a server robot, or a lock that opens with a certain knock combination, or any other captivating sci-fi looking machinery that inspired you to learn Arduino in hopes that one day you yourself will be part of this creative community of incredibly talented people and perhaps do something even better. Be honest with yourself. Is my estimation accurate? If so, don't be frightened. Some time ago, I went for the exact same thing. In fact, every person that achieved something astonishing in any field at one point in time had to start from absolutely nothing. Trust me though, if you really want to learn something, all it takes is a strong passion and a little bit of patience. In fact, the plan is to make it free and accessible to all Arduino cores so that anyone who first picked one up could learn how to use it. Now, let's discuss what Arduino actually is. In short, it is a general-purpose microcontroller board with a bunch of connection sockets that, with some implication of programming and prototyping, can be used to interact with the real world. Prototyping something generally means designing and testing alternatives to a problem in order to come up with the most innovative, creative, and efficient solution. This generally small machine right here can be used to sense absolutely anything. And I mean anything. Temperature, pressure, sound, smell, light, and even pollution of your environment can be captured by this tiny machinery. What's interesting, however, is that Arduino will react or physically respond to what it has sensed in a manner that you have programmed it to. With a certain input, usually in form of a code, you can create a desirable output that works best for your specific circumstance. For example, Arduino can trigger a sound alarm when the pollution level is above an established level, activate lights in a particular setting when the luminosity of the environment reaches a certain value, or open a door with a combination of numbers, sounds, or images that again, you have chosen. So it suffices to say that the number of possible projects adds up to infinity, which might actually justify Arduino's logo. Arduino is an open source software, meaning that anyone, including you, can share their discoveries with the public, and that concept to me is absolutely fascinating. Allow me to explain. Consider the current population trends. As of now, the world population is approaching 8 billion people. Among those, there are so many with a piece of genius in their mind that unite together through the medium of internet in order to pursue the concept of worldwide knowledge and understanding of completely anything that they like. Think about it for a second. Why did NASA release the pictures of galaxies taken by the Hubble Space Telescope to the public? Or why does Khan Academy publish thousands of excellent educator videos for absolutely zero cost? Keep your guess to yourself, but I strongly believe that sharing knowledge with each other shapes our collective interpretation of the world around us, which is essential to human evolution. Of course, self-isolation will always remain a possible option, but wouldn't you want to be part of the world's scientific community by contributing to it? The choice is yours. Anyway, back to the main topic. The Arduino community is incredibly friendly and supportive. On their website, you can find plenty of already made projects made by really talented individuals who explain in great detail how you can replicate their project yourself. I strongly suggest that you save this link somewhere for future reference. You can find it in the description. Have fun. Another thing that I want you to understand is that it doesn't take some out-of-world programming skills in order for you to make cool projects with this device. Arduino developers are very considerate and constructed their software in a way that makes it accessible to designers and artists, the people that are typically not computer programmers. In fact, the necessary code for an Arduino project is usually provided by its developer, and sometimes all that is required from you is to copy and paste the code into the software, make the mandatory connections, and run the code. Done. You have a fully working machine within your control in under a couple of minutes. If you want to create your own project though, it will unfortunately take some doing, which by no means implies that it is impossible. In fact, in my future videos I plan to break down the code piece by piece to allow you to understand what line corresponds to which function. It is a really good exercise which can benefit your programming skills. Think about it, in our now technologically oriented world, picking up some coding doesn't sound like a bad thing, so stay tuned if you're interested. If you want to understand how the Arduino board works collectively, you have to first understand the basics of its components. As mentioned before, the heart or the brain of the Arduino board is a microcontroller. It is a little computer that is capable of performing a very large number of decision-making tasks that is sometimes too fast, sometimes too slow, or in other words tedious and irritating for a human to do. For instance, this little guy is happy to wait for hours or even days until your houseplant dries out, and within seconds execute functions that will give it a specified amount of water to drink. And as you might have guessed, the cycle is repeated, for months or even years. A microcontroller is quite tiny in size, however, it has an unlimited power if it's in the right hands. The greatest thing about them is that they are quite inexpensive and are designed primarily to control processes that otherwise respond to a sensory input. However, if you try to connect a microcontroller to sensors or supply exactly 5 volts of power into it, it will take you some doing. The rest of the components integrated into the Arduino board are there to serve for a convenient and collective operation of every connected component. To summarize, it is a machine that follows every move that you instructed it to execute and nothing else. All it takes is a pair of skilled hands and a little bit of brain power. Considering the fact that you have now understood everything up until this point of the video, you're pretty much good to go. Now you might be wondering, so what's the next step? Don't waste your precious time and go get yourself an Arduino and a few basic components from a local electronics store, if you don't already have one. It is a good investment and can very well be your next new hobby. I will soon be releasing videos that will explain the very basics of this machine that will get you started. However, if you choose to learn from other sources, I wish you the best of luck. There is a countless number of already finished projects that will serve as an additional fuel for your creative fire. Nevertheless, one thing to keep in mind is that every good adventure starts with a solid preparation, which my course is actually designed to do. So get ready for an exciting trip around the world of Arduino. Be careful though, it is really hard to stop after you get going. Also, don't hesitate to drop a comment if you have a question or a suggestion. I'll be glad to help. In the next video, you will learn about every component of the Arduino board. I will explain their functionality in great detail. Until next time, my friend.